Say that again. I'm pregnant. I knew it. I knew this girl had an agenda from the very beginning.
This is exactly how they do it. Find a rich man, pretend to be innocent, then suddenly there's a baby.
Please, that's not what happened. Then explain yourself. Because from where we're standing, it looks like you've executed your plan perfectly. There was never a plan. I didn't even know Ethan came from this family when we first met. Oh, spare us. You expect us to believe that?
Do you know who Ethan is? Do you know how many women have tried to get close to him over the years?
I never cared about his money. Funny. Because the moment marriage became possible, pregnancy followed. That's not true.
Then why are you here? Why not quietly raise the child yourself? Why march into our home?
Because Ethan deserves to know. He deserves the truth. Or perhaps you deserve his surname.
No! Don't raise your voice in this house. You're already asking for too much. Why is everyone downstairs? What's going on?
Perfect timing. Your girlfriend has a surprise for you.
Lindiwe, why are you crying?
Ethan, I'm pregnant.
Are you certain?
I went to the doctor yesterday. I'm 8 weeks pregnant.
8 weeks.
Before you say anything, think carefully. One mistake today could cost you half this family's empire.
Mother, please.
No, she deserves answers. Brother, ask her.
Lindiwe, is the baby mine?
I've never been with another man. Not before you, not after you. There has only ever been you.
Convenient answer.
Almost rehearsed. I don't need to rehearse the truth.
Truth. The truth is that girls from Alexandra Township don't accidentally end up carrying billionaires' babies.
Mother!
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
I grew up poor. I'm not ashamed of that. But don't confuse poverty with dishonesty. Then prove it. I will. How? By standing on the truth. Even if none of you believe me today.
Words are cheap.
Science isn't. Get a DNA test. Then we'll all know whether this child belongs to Ethan or to the man you conveniently forgot to mention.
Mother, enough.
No. This family has spent generations protecting our name. We won't lose it because of one girl's tears.
I didn't come here for money. I came because I believed Ethan would stand beside me.
Lindiwe, I don't know what to think.
Look at me, not them. Look at me. Do you honestly believe I would lie to you?
I don't know anymore.
One day the truth will walk into this house. And when it does, I pray your hearts are strong enough to carry the weight of what you've done today.
In Johannesburg, wealth could buy almost anything. Luxury penthouses overlooking Sandton, private helicopters, companies that employed thousands, influence that reached from Parliament to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. But there was one thing even unimaginable wealth could not purchase: a clean conscience. Lindiwe Maseko had never dreamed of becoming part of the powerful Van Rensburg family. Raised by her widowed mother in Alexandra Township, she grew up believing that dignity was earned through hard work, not bank accounts. She became a pediatric nurse at one of Johannesburg's busiest private hospitals, where long shifts, compassion, and quiet resilience defined her life. That was where she met Ethan Van Rensburg. He introduced himself simply as Ethan, a volunteer helping children undergoing long-term treatment. He never mentioned the billions attached to his surname, never arrived with bodyguards, never drove the exotic cars that filled his family's garage. To Lindiwe, he was simply a thoughtful man who read storybooks to frighten children and stayed behind after visiting hours to comfort anxious parents. For nearly 2 years, Lindiwe believed she knew every part of Ethan's life. Then one evening, he finally revealed the truth. He wasn't just Ethan. He was Ethan Van Rensburg, the youngest heir to one of South Africa's most influential business empires. The revelation changed nothing for Lindiwe, but it changed everything for his family. From the moment they met her, the Van Rensburgs judged her before she spoke a single sentence. To them, she wasn't a devoted nurse. She wasn't an educated, hard-working woman. She was simply a girl from Alexandra Township. And in their eyes, girls like Lindiwe always wanted the same thing: money, status, a wealthy husband's surname. When news of her pregnancy reached the mansion, Every prejudice they had secretly carried suddenly became, in their minds, undeniable proof. Within days, whispers spread through Johannesburg's elite circles, at charity galas, corporate boardrooms, exclusive country clubs. People who had never met Lindiwe repeated the same cruel story as if it were fact. She trapped Ethan with a pregnancy. No one asked for evidence. No one asked for her side. But hidden beneath the accusations was a secret so dangerous that someone inside the Van Rensburg family would soon risk everything to make sure the truth never came to light.
Lindiwe, you've barely touched your breakfast. I'm not hungry. You can't keep doing this. You're eating for two now. Everyone keeps reminding me, except the one person I wish would. Has Ethan called? No. Not even a message? Nothing. That doesn't sound like the Ethan. Because it isn't. I don't recognize him anymore. It's your phone. It's him. Answer it, please.
Lindiwe,
Ethan,
can we meet?
are you coming to apologize or to accuse me again?
Please, just let me explain.
There's nothing left to explain. You stood there while they called me a liar.
I know.
No, you don't. You watched your mother insult my family. You watched your sister humiliate me.
Lindiwe, please.
It's not enough.
Can we please meet?
Where?
Our cafe, Rosebank, 1 hour, please.
1 hour. Don't make me regret it.
Thank you for coming.
You have 5 minutes.
I've been thinking non-stop.
Thinking or listening to your family?
Both.
I can already tell which one won.
Lindiwe, would you agree to a DNA test?
That's why you called me here?
Please don't misunderstand.
No, I understand perfectly. You don't trust me.
It's not that simple.
It is exactly that simple. Trust doesn't come in percentages, Ethan. Either you believe me or you don't.
If the test proves,
If, there's still an if.
this will silence everyone.
No, this is about silencing your family, not protecting me.
I'm trying to fix this.
You're trying to protect your inheritance. There's a difference.
That's not fair.
Neither was standing alone in your mother's living room, while everyone called me a gold digger.
Would you still do it, the DNA test?
Yes, not because I owe your family proof, but because my child deserves a father who will one day be ashamed of this conversation.
Thank you.
Don't thank me. Earn my forgiveness. And Ethan, until that day, don't call me unless it's about our baby.
As Lindiwe walked out of the cafe, Ethan remained frozen in his seat. For the first time since the pregnancy was revealed, he realized that the greatest damage hadn't been caused by his family's accusations. It had been caused by his silence. Silence has a peculiar way of sounding like agreement. Lindiwe hadn't needed Ethan to fight every battle for her. She only needed him to stand beside her. Instead, he had stood behind everyone else. That single decision had created a wound that no apology could quickly heal. Meanwhile, inside the Van Rensburg mansion, another conversation was unfolding. Unlike the confrontation days earlier, this meeting happened behind closed doors. No raised voices, no shattered glasses, only calculated whispers. Tandy sat at the head of the dining table with a folder resting neatly before her. Across from her was her mother, Mrs. Van Rensburg, and Uncle Peter. They weren't discussing whether Lindiwe was telling the truth anymore. They had already convinced themselves she wasn't. Now they were discussing something far more dangerous. How to make Ethan believe it forever. Mrs. Van Rensburg feared only one thing above all else. If Ethan married Lindiwe, the family's carefully planned corporate merger with another influential Johannesburg dynasty would collapse. For years, she had imagined her son marrying into wealth equal to their own. A nurse from Alexandria Township was never part of that vision. To protect the family's future, she was prepared to sacrifice someone else's. As she opened the folder before her, a photograph slid onto the table. It showed Ethan laughing beside another woman during a charity gala months earlier. The image was completely innocent,
but in the wrong hands, it could become something else entirely. A seed of doubt, a carefully crafted lie, the first move in a much larger game. Across the city, Lindiwe sat alone on the balcony of her small apartment, gently resting a hand over her stomach. She whispered a promise to the tiny life growing inside her. No matter what happened, no matter how many people believed the worst about her, she would never allow her child to grow up believing they were unwanted. What she didn't know was that someone had already begun to work behind the scenes to ensure the upcoming DNA test would never reveal the truth. And if their plan succeeded, an innocent baby would be declared a stranger to his own father.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ethan Van Rensburg?
Yes, we have an appointment for a prenatal paternity DNA test.
Yes, sir. Please have a seat. The doctor will call you shortly.
Mr. Van Rensburg, Ms. Maseko, please come in. Before we begin, I need both of you to understand something. Prenatal DNA testing is extremely accurate. The result cannot be influenced by opinions or emotions, only biology.
Do both of you consent?
I do. Very well. We'll begin with the blood samples.
Doctor, how long before the results come back?
Usually 7 to 10 working days. We'll contact both of you directly.
No one else will have access to patients.
Everything remains confidential. Ms. Maseko, just relax your arm, small pinch.
Okay.
Mr. Van Rensburg, your turn.
Go ahead.
That's it. You're both done.
Lindiwe, can we talk outside?
There's nothing left to say. The truth is finally on its way. Let's wait for it.
I hope you're right.
I don't need hope. I have the truth.
Doctor, they're gone. Yes. What do you want?
Someone would like those results to disappear.
Excuse me?
Name your price.
You're asking me to commit fraud. I'm asking you to secure your children's future. That's only the beginning. Who sent you? The less you know, the longer you live.
The Van Rensburg family had built their empire over 4 generations. Mining, commercial real estate, renewable energy, banking. Every major decision had always been calculated months in advance. Mrs. Van Rensburg believed emotions were dangerous because they made people unpredictable. Money, however, made people obedient, and she intended to prove it once again. The morning after Ethan and Lindiwe visited the laboratory, she summoned Uncle Peter to her private study. Without saying a word, she slid a sealed envelope across the mahogany desk. Inside was enough cash to change an ordinary person's life forever. Peter looked at the envelope, then looked back at his sister. He already knew what she wanted before she spoke. "We cannot allow that child into this family." Those were the only words she said. No names, no detailed instructions. None were necessary. Peter had spent years cleaning up problems for the Van Rensburg family. A business rival who suddenly withdrew from a bidding war. A former executive who quietly signed a confidentiality agreement after threatening to expose financial misconduct. A journalist who unexpectedly lost interest in a damaging investigation. He had never asked questions. He simply solved problems. This time, however, the problem wasn't a newspaper article or a business contract. It was an unborn child. Peter contacted a trusted intermediary instead of approaching the laboratory himself. If anything went wrong, there would be no direct connection to the family. The plan appeared simple. Replace the DNA report before it reached Ethan. One altered document, one false conclusion, one broken relationship. And the Van Rensburg name would remain untouched. At least, that was what they believed. Meanwhile, life continued for Lindiwe. She buried herself in 12-hour nursing shifts despite the exhaustion pregnancy brought. Her patients still smiled when she entered their rooms. Children still reached for her hand. Colleagues still admired her quiet compassion. None of them knew that every evening she returned to an apartment where silence had become her closest companion. She never cried at work, never complained, but every night before sleeping, she opened the tiny drawer beside her bed. Inside rested the first ultrasound photograph. She would gently trace the baby's outline with her fingertips and whisper the same promise. No matter what happens, I will never let them feel unwanted. Across Johannesburg, Ethan wasn't sleeping either. Something deep inside him refused to accept the picture his family had painted of Lindiwe. He replayed every memory they had shared, every conversation, every promise, every quiet act of kindness. None of it matched the woman everyone now accused of deception. For the first time, he began wondering whether he had been asking the wrong question. Not, is Lindiwe lying, but who benefits if I believe she is? That single question would become the first crack in a conspiracy carefully built on wealth, influence, and lies.
The results should be out today.
Good. Let's put this embarrassing chapter behind us.
Ethan should be here any minute.
Morning.
Did the laboratory call?
They emailed the report 30 minutes ago.
Well, open it.
I'm waiting for Lindiwe.
Why? She's already lied enough.
Because whatever this report says, she deserves to hear it with me.
You asked me to come. I'm here.
Thank you.
Do you have the results?
Yes.
Then read them.
The probability that Mr. Ethan van Rensburg is the biological father is
Finish reading!
0%.
I knew it! I knew it from the beginning!
Unbelievable. You actually tried to destroy my brother's life.
Security, escort her out.
No.
What? I said no. You still want to argue with science?
No. I want to argue with lies.
The laboratory doesn't lie. Neither do I.
Lindiwe, the report.
Look at me. Do I look surprised?
No.
Because something is wrong. Very wrong.
Accept your defeat with dignity.
Defeat? I haven't even begun fighting.
You've embarrassed yourself enough. Leave.
I will, but before I do, I'm requesting another DNA test at a completely different laboratory, chosen by me, not by your family, not by Ethan, by the court if necessary.
You're desperate.
No, I'm confident.
There's a difference.
Another test won't change biology.
No, but it might expose corruption.
Be careful with your accusations.
I am. That's why I'm making them while looking you directly in the eyes.
You have no proof.
Lawton, when I find it, everyone who touched this report will answer for it.
This piece of paper doesn't define my child. The truth does.
Lindiwe, wait!
The next time we meet, bring your faith, not your doubts.
The report should have ended the story. Instead, it became the beginning of a much darker one. As Lindiwe stepped out of the Van Rensburg mansion, she expected to feel broken. Instead, she felt strangely calm. She knew two things with absolute certainty. She had never betrayed Ethan, and Ethan was the only man she had ever loved. If both statements were true, then the report in Ethan's hands could not be. For the first time since the pregnancy was revealed, she stopped asking herself why people hated her. Instead, she asked a far more dangerous question. Who stood to gain from destroying her? Back inside the mansion, celebration quickly replaced tension. Mrs. Van Rensburg instructed the staff to prepare champagne. Tandy called two close friends and triumphantly announced that the gold digger had finally been exposed. Even Ethan's phone began buzzing with congratulatory messages from relatives who somehow had received the news before he had spoken a single word. That detail unsettled him. The report had been emailed less than an hour earlier. How had so many people already known its contents? The answer sat quietly across the dining table. Uncle Peter. He wasn't celebrating. He wasn't smiling. Instead, he kept checking his phone every few minutes. His composure was too controlled, almost rehearsed. Ethan noticed something else. Every time Lindiwe insisted the report had been manipulated, Peter's jaw tightened ever so slightly. It was a reaction most people would never notice, but Ethan had grown up with his uncle. He recognized that expression. It was the same face Peter wore whenever he was hiding something. Across Johannesburg, Lindiwe made a decision that would change everything. She refused to hire the expensive lawyers many people recommended. Instead, she contacted someone she trusted completely. Advocate Naledi Pomalo. Years earlier, Naledi had successfully exposed a private medical laboratory for altering insurance records in exchange for bribes. If anyone could uncover whether the DNA report had been tampered with, it was her. When Naledi heard the entire story, she remained silent for several moments. Then she asked only one question. Who selected the laboratory? Lindiwe thought back carefully. She hadn't. Ethan hadn't. The appointment had been arranged by the Van Rensburg family office. Naledi slowly leaned back in her chair. A faint smile appeared on her face. It wasn't the smile of someone who had found the answer. It was the smile of someone who had just discovered where to begin looking. Far away, inside a modest apartment in Pretoria, another man stared at an envelope of cash. He had accepted the money believing it would solve his financial problems. Instead, it had stolen his peace. For 9 nights, he had barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the face of a pregnant woman insisting she was telling the truth. And for the first time, the laboratory technician who had altered the DNA report began wondering whether keeping the secret was worth losing his soul.
Thank you for coming. You said this couldn't wait.
It can't.
Your name won't leave this room unless you authorize it. You have my word.
I don't deserve your word, not after what I've done.
Start from the beginning.
The first analysis confirmed a biological match. There was no doubt. The unborn baby belonged to Ethan Van Rensburg.
Thank you, God. Then why was another report issued?
Because someone paid for it. A lot of money. More money than I've earned in 3 years.
Who?
I never met the person who ordered it. Everything came through a middleman. Cash. No names, no signatures, just instructions. Replace the report. Delete the original file. Make it look authentic.
Did you destroy the original?
No.
Why not?
Because my conscience wouldn't let me. I made a hidden backup and I knew that I'd destroyed an innocent family.
Can you prove everything you just said?
Yes, I brought the backup, the original laboratory log, security timestamps, email records, everything. It's all there, every lie, every alteration, every deleted record.
Mr. Dlamini, do you understand what this means?
I'm probably going to prison.
Possibly.
But today you finally told the truth.
Thank you, not for what you did, but for finding the courage to stop doing.
Lindiwe?
No, your lawyer. Mr. Van Rensburg, I think you should sit down.
What's happened?
The DNA report your family celebrated was fabricated.
What?
The original report confirms that you are the biological father. We have evidence. And we have the man who altered the records.
No, that's impossible.
Unfortunately, it's very possible.
Who did this?
We're still tracing the money, but whoever arranged it had access, influence, and plenty of cash.
I'm going to find them, even if they're my own family.
For weeks, the Van Rensburg family had believed the matter was over. Lindiwe had been humiliated. Ethan had been protected. The family name had survived, or so they thought. They never imagined that the weakest link in their carefully constructed conspiracy would not be a lawyer, or a police detective, or even Ethan himself. It would be a guilty conscience. The laboratory technician's confession changed everything. The encrypted backup contained far more than the original DNA report. Every modification made to the laboratory's database had been automatically recorded by the system. Timestamps, user logins, deleted files, replacement reports. Nothing had truly disappeared. Someone simply hoped no one would ever look closely enough. Advocate Naledi immediately filed an emergency application requesting an independent court-supervised prenatal DNA examination at one of South Africa's most respected forensic genetics laboratories. This time, neither family would choose the facility, neither family would touch the evidence. The court itself would oversee every step. When the Van Rensburg family received notice of the new proceedings, panic quietly replaced confidence. Mrs. Van Rensburg could no longer finish her meals. Tandy stopped answering reporters' calls after rumors of laboratory misconduct began circulating. Only Uncle Peter understood the true danger.
He knew that once investigators followed the money, they would eventually arrive at him. For the first time in decades, the man who always cleaned up other people's messes realized there was no one left to clean up his own. Across the city, Ethan stood alone in the nursery he had secretly begun preparing months earlier. He stared at the tiny crib he had hidden from everyone, including Lindiwe. He'd bought it the week she told him she was pregnant. Because deep down, before fear, before family pressure, before suspicion, he believed he was going to be a father. Now that belief had returned, but it came with a painful realization. If the final court-supervised DNA test confirmed what Lindiwe had always known, the greatest betrayal in this story would not be hers, it would be his.
All rise. Please be seated. This court is convened to review the evidence regarding the disputed prenatal DNA report Maseko. Advocate Kumalo, you may proceed.
Thank you, my lord. Today we will demonstrate three things. First, the original DNA report was altered. Second, the alteration was deliberate. Third, the motive was to destroy Miss Maseko's credibility and prevent her unborn child by Hanava.
Call your first witness, Mr. Sifo Dlamini. Do you swear to tell the truth? I do. Mr. Dlamini, what was your position at Genesis Medical Laboratory, Senior DNA Laboratory Technician?
Did you alter the Van Rensburg DNA report?
Yes.
Did Miss Maseko ask you to do that?
No.
Did Mr. Ethan Van Rensburg?
No.
Then why did you do it?
Because I accepted a bribe.
From whom?
I never met the person directly. Everything came through an intermediary. But I later learned who ordered it. Tell the court. Mr. Peter Van Rensburg.
Order! He's lying!
Really? Then perhaps you'd like to explain these bank transfers, the encrypted messages, and the security footage placing your intermediary inside the laboratory less than an hour before the report was changed. No explanation.
Bring in the independent DNA results. This report was prepared under direct court supervision. The chain of custody remained intact at every stage. There has been no opportunity for interference. The probability that Mr. Ethan Van Rensburg is the biological father is 99%. I'm the father.
I told you.
You did. And I failed you. Lindiwe, can you ever forgive me?
One day, maybe, but forgiveness doesn't erase memory.
Lindiwe, please, I was wrong.
No, you made a choice. Every insult, every accusation, every humiliation, those were choices. I'm sorry I believed the worst about you because it was easier than believing the truth.
Ethan, please listen. Don't call my name. Not today. Not ever again. You didn't just lie to me. You tried to steal my child before my child was even born. This court orders that the fraudulent DNA report be permanently struck from the record. The matter of criminal prosecution against those responsible for the fraud is hereby referred to the National Prosecuting Authority. Court is adjourned.
Miss Maseko, do you have anything to say after today's verdict?
Yes, just one thing. Truth doesn't become truth because people believe it. Truth remains truth even when everyone stands against it. Mr. Van Rensburg, what happens now?
Now I stop trying to protect my family's reputation and start earning the trust of the woman I should have protected from the beginning.
News of the verdicts spread across South Africa before sunset. Every newspaper that had once repeated the cruel rumor printed a different headline the following morning. Not "Woman tries to trap billionaire heir," but "DNA fraud exposes powerful family's conspiracy." The same society that had judged Lindiwe without evidence now praised her courage. She accepted neither their praise nor their sympathy. She had learnt that public opinion could change overnight. Character did not. Uncle Peter was arrested within days. The investigation uncovered years of financial misconduct that had nothing to do with Lindiwe's case. The altered DNA report had merely been the thread that unraveled a much larger web of corruption. Mrs. Van Rensburg resigned from several charitable foundations after public pressure mounted. For the first time in decades, the Van Rensburg name was associated not with prestige, but with disgrace. Months later, on a quiet spring morning in Johannesburg, Lindiwe gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The first person she allowed into the hospital room was not a journalist, not a member of the Van Rensburg family, but it was Ethan. He walked in slowly, holding nothing but his small knitted blue blanket. No expensive gifts, no flowers large enough to fill the room, just humility.
He stopped beside the hospital bed. Lindiwe gently placed the sleeping baby into his arms. Ethan looked down at his son, tiny fingers wrapped around one of his own. At that moment, the billionaire heir who had spent his life signing contracts worth millions discovered that nothing he had ever held carried more value than 7 tiny pounds of sleeping innocence. Tears rolled silently down his face. I almost lost you before I ever met you. The baby stirred, opened his eyes for just a moment, and gripped his father's finger even tighter. Lindiwe watched quietly. She had waited months for justice, but this wasn't justice. It was healing. Healing didn't erase the pain. It simply proved that pain did not have the final word. Ethan spent the next several years doing what he had failed to do during Lindiwe's pregnancy. He showed up, not with promises, with consistency. School meetings, doctor's appointments, late-night fevers, birthday cakes, bedtime stories. Trust returned slowly, not because Ethan asked for it, but because he earned it one ordinary day at a time. 3 years later, beneath blooming jacaranda trees overlooking Johannesburg, Ethan asked Lindiwe a final question. This time there were no family members whispering in his ear, no accusations, no fear, just the woman he loved and the little boy who smiled between them. Will you give me a second chance? Lindiwe looked at the little boy holding both their hands. Then she smiled. The first chance belonged to 2 young people in love. She gently squeezed Ethan's hand. The second belongs to a family built on truth. As the golden South African sunset painted the sky, they walked forward together, not because life had been perfect, but because truth had finally led them home. Sometimes the loudest accusations come from people who have never searched for the truth. Lindiwe's story reminds us that character is not determined by people's opinions, wealth, or social status. In the end, truth always finds its voice, even if it has to wait a little longer to be heard. If this story touched your heart, let us know in the comments. At what moment did you realize Lindiwe was telling the truth all along? If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another emotional African family story. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Until our next story, stay kind, stay hopeful, and always remember, the sweetest stories aren't just told, they leave lessons that stay with us forever. This is Sweetest African Folktales, where every story touches the heart.